Summertime in the Haliburton Highlands means families are spending a lot of time in the waters, and for the most part, it's enjoyable. But what if the unthinkable happens and there's an accident? How do you go forward? Well, the Personal Injury Alliance is a group comprised of three of the top-ranked personal injury law firms in Canada: McLeish Orlando, Oatley Vigmond, and Thompson Rogers. The PIA has been formed to ensure that innocent accident victims and their families are given the tools and knowledge to hire the best legal representation available to ensure the best possible recovery. Each firm brings best practices, leading case management methodologies in personal injury law, and are acknowledged frontrunners in their field. Speaking with me today is Sloan Mandel. He's a partner from Thompson Rogers and a member of the Personal Injury Alliance. Sloan is a leading practitioner in the area of personal injury litigation. He's listed in the Best Lawyers in Canada publication and the Canadian Legal Expert Directory. Sloan has been identified by his peers as consistently and repeatedly recommended in the areas of medical negligence and personal injury, and I'm pleased to have him on the line with me this morning. How are you, sir?
Great to be with you, Rick. I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Like I said, summertime in the Haliburton Highlands. So I guess first and foremost, what can cottage owners do to protect themselves?
You know, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and it's important to know what your legal obligations are to guests and invitees to your premises. So, firstly, property owners, cottage owners, they have a legal duty to take reasonable steps to ensure that their properties are safe, and they have a legal duty to make sure that the activities being carried on at the premises are safe. And what that means for cottagers specifically is if you're on a waterway like a lake or a river, you know, is it suitable for diving? How deep is the water? We know as a fact that 95% of all diving injuries occur in water that's 1.5 meters deep or less, so about 5 feet or less, in an unsupervised setting with no warning signs. Have you posted warning signs? Have you determined whether the levels have changed over the course of the summer? Are there rocks or other hazards lurking underneath the water that can't be seen to the naked eye above the water? So these are some of the efforts that you have to do to make sure your property's safe. And then, you know, listen, in a matter of seconds, crazy fun can become horrible tragedy. You have to drink responsibly. You have to make sure that your guests are conducting themselves appropriately. We know as a fact that there's about 60 major spinal cord injuries per year from diving-related accidents in the province of Ontario.
Wow.
90% of these result in incomplete or complete quadriplegia, and what that means is an injury to the spine that results in a partial or total loss of use of a person's arms and legs. The majority of these victims are young men, age 17 to 22, and more than half of those incidents, drugs or alcohol is involved.
Wow. So how serious an impact do these accidents have on the victims and their families, for that matter?
Yeah, I mean, these types of injuries are never minor, and the impact is devastating. And like you've said, Rick, you know, both in terms of the person, the survivor who suffered this type of injury, and their family. You know, the rehab process is a long and painful one. There's often an inability to work, which creates financial pressures that are superimposed upon care costs and medical needs that are massive. So it is an absolutely devastating thing to have to suffer.
Okay, so if you're at the cottage, whether you're a guest or the cottage owner, and you know the worst possible thing happens, and somebody is injured, what's the first thing they should do, other than obviously call the ambulance?
Yeah, well, listen, there's a human side to this. So, you know, you have to speak with your family and your friends and lean on them and get the type of support that you can from those people that are close to you. You have to take a deep breath and gain some composure. And then you got to call a qualified, and I stress the word qualified, personal injury lawyer, because, you know, credentials matter.
Yeah.
You know, when you've suffered an injury like this, you're vulnerable, you're distracted, and the last thing you want to do is hire a salesman to run your lawsuit. So, you know, you gave us a great introduction. I can't say more than that other than, you know, visit our website, pialaw.ca. You'll see what type of credentials are out there in the industry and the types of credentials that the three firms that you've mentioned to have. And, you know, first and foremost, like we said earlier, a pound of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And hopefully your listeners will never need us, but if they do, they'll know where to look.
Terrific. Again, Sloan Mandel, the Personal Injury Alliance. And if you'd like more information, like Sloan said, you can check out the webpage at pialaw.ca. Sloan, thanks for joining us. Have a great summer.
Great, Rick. You too.